Hello, my name is Matt Pena, and I write books for young readers. When you've been around for a while, like I have, unfortunately, you're probably going to end up dealing with a couple book bans or challenges along the way. And that's certainly the case for me. If you write about race or class or sexuality, the chances increase. But on the flip side, you might also be fortunate enough to have multiple interactions directly from readers through email or social media. And I have to say, that's probably my favorite part of my job. And over the years, I've had some incredible back and forths with young readers. But there's one that I will never forget. Her name is Anna, and she was living in Tucson, Arizona, back when I was living in New York City. And the first email I got from her, she just told me, I read your book, Mexican White Boy, and it really connected to my life because I'm also a mixed race person, half Mexican, half white, just like my character. And she told me a couple of the scenes that hit home for her, and then she told me a little bit about her life. And I loved that email, and I thanked her for reading the book. But then a month later, she sent me another email. She said, now I've read two of your books. I read We Were Here, and this one is my favorite, which, by the way, told me she had good taste because that one's my favorite too. And she told me a couple things that connected with her in that book. And she kind of, she told me a little bit more about her life. So this was a pretty cool exchange. But then about 2 months later, she emailed and she said, now I've read all of your books. At the time, I think I had 4. And she said, I really want you to come visit my school. Now, usually when an author is contacted by a school, you hear from the librarian or a teacher or maybe even the principal. But it's rarely a student because students don't understand the logistics of a visit, right? I lived in New York. How am I going to get there? When's this going to happen? And scheduling and stuff like that. So I'll be honest, I kind of blew her off and said, yeah, that would be really cool to visit your school one day. Maybe it will happen. Well, she didn't just let that kind of idea drop. She kept pursuing it. She connected me with her librarian. She organized a bake sale at a football game or at multiple football games to raise money. And they came up with enough money for my travel and my honorarium. So now I couldn't believe this. I was going to visit a school, and it was all spearheaded by this young junior in Tucson named Anna. That alone is pretty cool. But then something happened before the visit. I got another email from someone else that said, your book has been banned at Tucson High School. And I thought, wait, isn't that the school that I'm supposed to visit? Isn't that Anna's school? So I found out that it was the same. Now, a little background, I'll do this quickly. There was a Mexican-American Studies program in Tucson, Arizona, where they had this great idea. Let's have predominantly Mexican students read books featuring Mexican characters written by authors who have last names that are similar to theirs. And it was a highly successful program. However, it got caught up in the culture wars, and a certain political entity wanted to dismantle it. But not only that, any book that was taught in that curriculum was from that point forward banned in the school. The books were actually taken out of the students' hands and put into the basement in box that said banned. So I was like, okay, there's no way they're going to let me go to the school if I'm one of the banned authors. But the librarian was kind of savvy, and she didn't kind of tell the whole truth to her administration and said, we have this local author that's coming to visit. So I ended up getting to go there, and then the New York Times followed me in. What was amazing about this is, first of all, I got to use the honorarium which they raised to purchase copies of Mexican White Boy to give back to the students when I visited them, which was a pretty cool thing that I had an opportunity to do because of Anna. But the coolest thing is what I heard about Anna from her teachers. Apparently she was a struggling reader. She was struggling in her classes. And this experience, again, it wasn't just this particular book, but she used a book as a tool to do something and to take an initiative, and it gave her this incredible amount of confidence. So she became such a better student from that point on because she saw that she could do something that could make a difference. She was the one who brought me to this school. She was the one who led to every student getting a copy of that book for free. And so we've kept in touch over the years. She's now out of high school. She's married. She has a family. She went to community college. And I'll never forget that first interaction and how it led to this profound event in my own life. So this is the power of books. It's not the book itself always, but it's how readers use the book as a tool. Thank you.